Hi, I am Allison A. Courtright, better known in the classroom as Mrs. Courtright, or as most of my students like to call me, Mrs. C. Today I am introducing you to who I am personally, professionally, and, more importantly, how I am a role model and mentor to children as an educator. In my classroom, the primary focus is my students and their well-being. Every child can and will learn, but for this learning to happen, it requires me to connect with my students, to focus on the whole child, and to ensure that my students feel safe and loved every day when they come to school. Students thrive on structure and for their teacher to be someone to look up to and rely on when they need you the most. When I say I am the decisive element to my students, I stand by it, as the tone I set in my classroom sets the tone for their day and school year for their ability to learn, which ultimately impacts their future aspirations and dreams. As I talk about future aspirations and dreams, who am I, and what inspired me to become a teacher? My mind has always been one to wander and dream. My heart is always open to others and looking for a way to bring meaning to this journey we call life, and how I can inspire others. I only have 13 cats that are all rescues and 3 dogs at home. If I could rescue all the animals in the world, I would. Throughout my professional career, I've worked in many leadership positions and have always found myself training and coaching others, but I needed more. They always say you should be happy with what you do. I am 31 years old, back at college, and obtaining my bachelor's degree in elementary and special education to inspire children as they are the future. While working on my degree, I substituted Perry local schools as much as possible, working with special needs students K through 12 as an educational associate parapro. I began working with Perry local schools before returning to college. This is where I found that teaching was my passion, and then I decided to make the significant career change. I work with the after-school literacy tutoring program daily, LEAP, where I am currently attending college as a lead teacher and tutor. I work with Painesville City local school students, K through 5 daily in this role. In this position, I have also had the opportunity to manage the phonics and motion lessons, lesson planning, and tutors for several months. This opportunity has allowed me to work with a diverse population of general education and some special needs children, and working with them has been an experience like no other. This diverse group of children has inspired much of my teaching philosophy that I stand by as an educator. Every child, no matter where they come from, what trauma they may or may not have endured, or what learning or physical disability they may have, first and foremost, are a whole person, a human. Children have favorite colors, books, games, and activities that they enjoy. It is vital to connect and get to know your students as a person above everything else. As their teacher, my giving each of my students a smile when they first walk in the door and daily check-ins of their emotions go a long way. Welcoming healthy conversations about feelings and what is going on in the world in the classroom is essential. Providing hugs, wiping away tears, and using box breathing when needed. Creating that safe environment that allows for self-care and goal setting to help them to reach their full potential with growth mindset development. It is not only until a child is healthy, feels safe, and loved that that sense of belonging and support from their teacher can effective learning occur. A classroom that looks welcoming is vital. My Dream Special Needs unit includes a lot of colors and a sign that tells my students they are loved, which implements the human philosophy that I follow. I have areas for my students that gives them the opportunity to have independence, but also to have socialization when they feel comfortable. My students and their needs are the focus of the classroom. Multiple stations are built throughout the classroom to allow for rotation, visual schedules with Velcro icons, and binders with Velcro emotion icons to enable engagement and communication from all students. I have a separate sensory room for fine and gross motor skill development and emotional health breaks built into the students' schedules based on their needs. Lastly, I have a happy place corner built, as you will always need to be prepared for the unexpected. Emotional outbursts, a safe place to talk about your feelings and cope with your emotions by using box breathing, or maybe as simple as a short break is needed, and this happy place corner is the perfect place for that. My dream general education classroom is quite similar to what I would have in my special needs classroom, because a lot of the needs, whether if the child has a special need, is the same for what you would use for general education students. As in both types of classroom, the students and their needs are the center focus. So my general education classroom, it would be full of color, visuals, flexible seating, stations, desks arranged to allow for group work, and I still would integrate my happy place corner, as all children have feelings and emotions and need to learn healthy ways to be able to cope and manage them. Sensory objects are essential. As a result, I would have sensory caddies in the classroom, filled with weighted balls, putty, and fidgets for my students to use during a short break, to help them move from the red zone to the green zone to get them back to learning safely. You may have noticed that much of my classroom setup follows my teaching philosophy, methods, and strategies. To continue to be a well-informed trauma educator, I must stay up to date with all information regarding trauma, coping tools, and self-care. Connection with my students, parents, and the community is a must. I must create that atmosphere for a student or parent to feel comfortable talking to me. Sometimes something as minor as waking up late can start a child off with having a bad day, and it is nice if we have that relationship to be able to know ahead of time, as it can help us better work with our students for the rest of the day. Being my students' biggest cheerleader with everything they do enhances their education and growth mindset. Now, I am not only talking about standing on the sidelines and cheering. I speak of their safety, providing structure, consistency, rules, setting goals, and coaching them about life along the way, being a true cheerleader to my students. My students may not always like my rules, but their safety and well-being are my top priority. Every child comes from a diverse background and learns differently based on academic, behavioral, and physical needs in the classroom, and we must acknowledge that. My lessons will follow Universal Design for Learning, UDL, to ensure that all learning needs are met in the classroom. Each lesson will adapt to my students' academic, behavioral, and physical needs to ensure that every child has a fair chance to learn the lesson taught within the curriculum. Instruction during a lesson will include direct instruction with modeling first, with clear expectations, and then allowing the students to complete the activity to follow the lesson as a class, independently, with group work, or with guided assistance, depending on the student's individual needs. I know that as of today, I still need to earn my degree in education. However, I am working with children of all ages daily. As a result, I can already practice my teaching philosophy, beliefs, methods, and strategies. Based on the smiles, handmade pictures you see on this screen, which is just the tip of the iceberg of the stack I have at home, and hugs I receive daily from my students, I know I must be doing something right, inspiring children and their futures. Thanks for watching.